The mist rolled in thick as Eleanor stepped into the woods, her breath hanging in the frosty air like whispers of the forgotten. She often came here, seeking solitude among the gnarled trees that twisted upward like the skeletal fingers of the past, clawing at the gray sky. Today, though, something felt different. An electric hum in the silence, a cautious thrill under her skin. As she walked deeper, the familiar paths seemed to shift around her. Branches cracked like dry bones, their shadows stretching longer than they should against the fading light. The wind's breath turned unnaturally cold, something stirring just beyond her line of sight. Flitting shapes that disappeared when she turned her head. Eleanor quickened her pace, heart racing, unsure if she should retreat or press forward. Then she heard it, a soft sobbing, a mournful sound that curled around her mind like tendrils of creeping ivy. It resonated through the branches and echoed off the damp earth. She followed it, drawn and repelled, forcing her feet to tread the darkened trail, further where no sunlight dared to linger. At last, she came upon a clearing, and there, knees hugged tightly to a quivering body, was a little girl in a tattered white dress that fluttered like moth wings in the chilly air. The girl's face was obscured, a curtain of tangled hair veiling her features. The sobbing grew louder, more frantic as Eleanor approached. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice a mere thread against the oppressive silence. The girl lifted her head, revealing eyes as hollow as the void, skin stretched too tightly over bony cheeks. "They're coming for me," she whispered, voice scratchy like dry leaves underfoot. "You shouldn't be here." Eleanor's skin prickled. The very air around her felt charged with a presence just out of reach. "Who?" she managed, but the reply was swallowed by the sound of rustling leaves. Suddenly, a deep darkness began to pool behind the girl, blending into the shadows and obscuring the clearing. Shapes, indistinct and creeping, began to coalesce from the night. Half-formed whispers of limbs and faces twisting toward Eleanor, as if drawn by her question. Panic clawed at her throat as she stumbled backward. "No!" the girl cried, rising abruptly, pointing a trembling finger into the gathering gloom. "You have to run!" The shadows surged, rushing toward Eleanor with hungry intent, drowning out the girl's voice. She turned, the ground slippery beneath her feet, and ran blindly through the trees, her heart pounding in erratic rhythm of dread. Yet the whispers chased her, the grief-inflected sounds of scattered memories filling the silence, each note heavier than the last. She could feel the desolation encroaching, clawing at the edges of her sanity. Just as the trees began to constrict, their branches like the arms of the forsaken reaching for her, she stumbled out of the woods into the flickering street lights of her neighborhood. Breathless, but safe, the sobbing now a mere echo behind her. It took a moment before she noticed the small white dress hanging against the trunk of an oak, stained with the inky blackness of night. The girl was gone, but the sadness lingered, twisting her stomach. Part of Eleanor was relieved, until she glanced at her own reflection in the darkened window of a nearby house and reached up to touch her face. The reflection didn't meet her gaze. It smiled back at her instead, eyes glinting with a hollow sadness, and whispering, "You shouldn't have left."